So I figured today I'd take the opportunity to thank all of those moms and dads out there for their constant bravery and their tenacity to continue to push forward and supporting those children, those family members, whether it's their parent, their child, their brother, their uncle, their grandmother, whoever it is. I have to give a big shout out to those of you guys that keep pushing forward in working with a disabled parent or family member, even a friend that they support. Because I do realize that it is a thankless job. Right? No one will understand the difficulty and how difficult it is to truly continue to move forward, keep that smile on your face when things become so apparently hard, just hard to continue to just smile, continue to believe that there is something better at the back end of your current situation for that family member, for that loved one, to continue to stay at peace, right? with your own self. It's really important that I say thank you. I see you. You are doing an amazing job. Don't ever stop believing that there is good that's coming from every single thing that you do, and believe that people appreciate you, even though you may not hear it often or you may not hear it at all. That person that you're caring for does appreciate you. So welcome. For those of you guys that are new to my channel, welcome back. For those of you guys that are seasoned subscribers, I hope you're all having an amazing day. On Mondays, I do videos all about my fashion faves. Just love having a little bit of fun with my love of bags and accessories and just some creams here and there. And then on Fridays, I do videos all about TSC, FSGS, and everything that comes with it, which is tuberous sclerosis complex, and FSGS is a form of kidney disease, neither of which are curable. There's just forms of kind of managing each of them, right? And everything that comes with it, whether it's just all the doctor visits, all the complications, all the other medical issues that we've gone through or we've ran through. Also just how we've dealt with these different diseases emotionally, physically. So if you're interested in either or, please hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell so you can be notified on all of my latest videos. And please don't forget to hit the like button and comment. Let me know what you're going through. Is there your challenges or what you've done to overcome these challenges? And let's get started. So today I figured I'd kind of go over a couple of things or key items that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, being a parent of a disabled child. Or disabled children, excuse me. My oldest, obviously, she's doing a lot better now because she did get her second kidney transplant. But let's put it into perspective right now. She's doing better. She's still dealing with severe anxiety right now after everything that she's been to, which is understandable. She's been through so much, so now it's kind of, trying to manage her anxiety at this point. But even after her second transplant, she had to go and have 95% of her parathyroid removed. She had to go and get a hysterectomy. So it was always constantly something else, right? So right now for her, it's slowing down, but it's still difficult because she was so overwhelmed, and I think that it's just all coming down and crashing down on her at this point. So now she has to learn how to manage that, right? So we're there now with her. Now with my youngest, she did have a seizure. I think it was, what's today? Friday. So Wednesday she had a seizure. But I've taught her to, when she feels like something's overcoming her, to sit down on the ground so she doesn't fall and get hurt. So that's exactly what she did. She sat down, she had her seizure. I was actually cooking, and when I turned around, she's like, Mom, you know, and I saw her face, and I already know. I helped her up, and she hadn't had one for a long time. She had one, we were going to have an MRI done some time ago, and now it was very brief, maybe about 10 seconds long. So I picked her up, sat her down in the chair, and let her kind of just get her bearings back. So though it's gotten better overall as a family, we're still struggling. We're still dealing with constant emergencies. We're still dealing with all these other things. And being a part of, as you know, being in my age group, we're called, or I am in the sandwich phase of my life. So where you're caring for your parents and you got to be there for them for all their issues, but also caring for your children. But with me, it's a lot more prominent mentally, because I have 2 disabled children. So if it was just kids that you were taking care of where they had a good health, and you know, all you had to do is pick them up from school, drop them off to baseball, deal with boy issues, deal with the color of your prom dress or the style of your prom dress, is very different from I have to pick up 6 prescriptions this month. She has 4 doctor visits. Am I going to have to worry with how this medication interacts with this one? Is she going to have a seizure? We got to monitor her, pretty much both of them, all of their organs. Is she going to be able to pass this class because of her learning disabilities? How is she going to interact with this group of kids because she has such a hard time interacting? Does she understand what's good for her, what isn't? How do you manage that, right? And still allow her to have friends that she can hang out with. Because choosing those right friends, it's really hard too, because it's scary as a mom, because I have to be able to also trust that those friends are going to keep her safe, or they're going to be good and kind to her because of her disability. And she's very, sometimes she can be a little bit susceptible to the bad, right? So it is very, very hard to manage this stuff and still keep your sanity as a mom. I understand that. As a mom with a disabled child, I understand it even better. So in reality, when I see parents that are frustrated with their child because they're not doing really good in the class, and they're doing great everywhere else, and they're flourishing, or they're doing just such a good job overall, or they're just struggling because the kid's hard-headed, giving them a hard time, I crave for that. I crave for just having to worry about that, versus having to worry about my daughter losing a healthy kidney, or my youngest having a seizure at the wrong time where she's vulnerable, or my daughter's pancreas, the cyst growing back, where she might have to have that removed, and what does that entail? Or if my youngest has full-blown kidney disease that leads into dialysis. So as a mom, I crave for the teenager being a smart mouse sometimes, where you have to correct them, or helping them get through that one boy that broke her heart without putting so much more effort into what is his intentions, because my daughter doesn't understand what's going on. Is she being taken advantage of? Is this some, so it's escalated, right? Or it's, what's a good word to say it? It's more emphasis on does he have good intentions? That's always a mom's thing. But you know that as a mom with a disabled child, it's a lot more emphasis on is this a good kid that's going to do right by my daughter because of her learning disability? Does she understand what to do in certain scenarios? No matter how many times I tell her, hey, if this happens, this is how you approach it, but I always have to reiterate it. So for those disabled disabled children's parents, I see you. I understand. I get it. I'm here. I am living in this. This is my reality of working with disabled children, right? We have that extra of scariness in our lives, where we want the best for our children, just like every other mom and dad. The only thing is that we have to worry 50 times, 60 times, 100 times more because of all the additional stuff that comes with having children that need additional care, especially when it comes to additional medical care. Like finding the right programs that will benefit my youngest daughter to help her grow into adulthood. Like learning how to work, right? Learning how to work with her hands, understanding what to do in a job setting. Or learning how to, finding the right programs when it comes to supporting her learning development. Programs like LAMP here in Florida, you know, and I'll have another video all about LAMP. I just wanted to make sure that I kind of get this message out there. So something like LAMP, or something like just, you know, she like any type of after school program that'll help her with her development. Like with me, I have her doing online courses on building her self-esteem. So I pay extra for that to help build her up, because if you're with the wrong, she will kind of clings on to like not the best people in her school. So because these are the people that can easily manipulate her, so she starts feeling bad about herself. So I have to pull her away and put her in, you know, building up classes so that she understands how valuable she is, how important she is, how amazing she is to me, to our families, to, you know, to true people that love her, right? People that have her best interests at heart. Or like my oldest, finding the right job where she can manage her anxiety, which is big, right? Because she's dealing with all this stuff, but also a setting where she's not overly exerting herself, where she feels overwhelmed or anxious, or has a hard time just continuously or consistently running around, where she gets overly exerted and exhausted, because she's still, no matter what, she's still recovering. It's still a recovering process. You know, once she hits the 3-year mark, it's then her nephrologist, her surgeons, her team of transplant doctors will feel a lot more comfortable once she hits that 3-year mark. They can say, okay, you know, she's finally hit the 3-year mark. You know, they feel a lot more comfortable that her kidney's going to do very well long term. So it's a series of things, right? It's not just one thing when dealing with children with disabilities, and there's so many different realizations, right? You know, where certain parents need special types of vehicles, you need special types of ramps. So now you have that aspect of it, right? You have certain kids with severe learning disabilities. So how do you build a successful future for that child? Because not every parent does it the same, right? We all take different walks of life because we are learning as we're going. I have a little bit more experience with TSC because of my oldest daughter, but both of their cases are completely different. My oldest had kidney disease. My youngest, she's doing well with her kidney. Even though, you know, she's lost protein here and there, it's been very good. It's been doing well. At this age, or at 16 with my oldest daughter, we're going through kidney transplants. You know, so, you know, my oldest daughter, she had like stare-off seizures that weren't really, I mean, they were quick, and she outgrew them. She never had them again. My youngest just had a seizure a couple of days. So though I have experience with TSC, or tuberous sclerosis complex, each scenario just in our own household was completely different. There is no guideline on how to care for your child with a disability. There isn't. So it's really, really, really important to note that and have that understanding with parents that do have children with disabilities, their struggles, what they go through, how impactful it is to just be there and support those parents, make sure they're okay, whether they're your family members, your friends, whoever it is. Just say, hey, how are you doing today? And just sometimes maybe just give them an ear that they can talk to, so they can kind of get a couple of things off their chest. Though they seem like they got it all together, it doesn't mean that they do. Mentally, for me, it's taken me a long time to get to where I am right now, where I have a stable, just a little bit more stability in my life. For a couple of years there, I really thought that I was going to give up. I had severe anxiety. I was sleeping 2 hours a night. I couldn't think straight. I had a hard time working because I was so out of it. I wasn't thinking straight at all. My anxiety was through the roof. It was so severe that I couldn't even fall asleep. Once I would lay down in bed, it took me maybe on average 3 hours to get to sleep. That was how severe it was. I had severe chest pains. I could barely walk because I was always having severe chest pains. I was rushed to the ER a couple times thinking that something's wrong with me. I'm having a heart attack, and it was just severe anxiety. It was debilitating. So it's really important to address those issues as caregivers as well. Just identify where you are, what you're dealing with. Try to catch it early so it doesn't become debilitating, right? If you see that you're having a hard time sleeping, it just starts like that, having a hard time sleeping. Maybe take jogs, take a walk, give yourself some time out so that you're not just sitting in that pity and that anger and that sadness because you feel like you were given the bad hand in life. I know it seems like that. I felt like that for years. Like, this can't be happening, right? To us, to me. But sometimes it just happens. I mean, it's just part of life. You know, you're not being punished. Your child's not being punished. It's just, sometimes genetics is just genetics, or the situation is just, it's how it is. It's how your life was meant to be. But don't wallow in your pity. Reach out for support, reach out for help, talk to a loved one, talk to your doctor, talk to a therapist. Just talk about it. Don't sit there in sadness. I'm not the person to say, hey, everything's gonna be, roses and rainbows and butterflies tomorrow, because it might not be. But you sitting there in despair and anger and anguish, that's not gonna help you either. Reach out. Do something that you love. Take 10 minutes out of your day, 20 minutes out of your day. Give yourself some me time. That's the only way I was able to get out of this. I had to give myself some me time. It's why I decided to create my channel, just to get myself out there and kind of talk about everything that I've been through and how difficult it has been and overwhelmingly exhausting. Because we were running to the ER 2-3 times a week at one point. It's not easy. I get it. I see you. I understand. I'm living it. I'm still living it. It might get better. It might not. It might still be difficult 3 years down the road. It might get better within the next year. But just know that that kid, that child, that person depends on you. But you need a break sometimes. So reach out for support. Don't sit there and wallow in the pain alone. You need help. Don't do it alone. Don't overexert yourself. Just recognize the signs that you are taking on way too much and you're not taking those breaks. You also need a vacation. You also need some time to yourself. And when I say vacation, you might not be able to afford a huge vacation, whatever, but maybe even like just a weekend to get away and just be on your own for a little bit, so you can give yourself a mental break. If you don't, you're going to spiral down that dark hole of severe anxiety, anger, abandonment. You're going to feel all this stuff because you're not reaching out for support. So I hope this video finds you well. I know it's I guess for me it's just thinking about everything, and sometimes where I was at a point, like I felt like it was almost like a thankless job, caring for kids that have disabilities. You almost feel that way because I felt like they were never getting better. It was just this cycle or this spiraling of medical emergency after medical emergency after medical emergency. So I finally recognized that, you know what, it might not be a quick resolution. This is you never feel like you're getting to an end zone or end game. But I did recognize the fact that, you know, at least we are progressing and we're getting those little small wins. And that's what I clinged on to, those small wins. And that's what matters. And reaching out to ask for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. So thank you guys for listening in. Again, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell so you can be notified on all of my latest videos. And please don't forget to hit the like button and comment. Let me know how you're doing. I do truly hope you are having a good day and you are doing good today. And please don't ever forget to focus through and evolve. Ciao.